What do you see? I see a young man who's born here in the Netherlands, who studies industrial engineering, loves playing football, listening to music, or going out with his friends in the weekend. A typical Dutch boy, you would say. Well, surprise. My parents are from Africa, Morocco to be precise, and immigrated here to the Netherlands seeking for a better life, to work, rent a house, create a family, to have the same thing as all of you are doing in your lives, chasing their dreams. For them, their dream was to have a home sweet home. In my opinion, we're a well-integrated family. That's what I thought. Until one day, when my father was driving back from work, that he got a phone call from the chairman of the Mardi Gras Carnival Association. And he proudly said, "Congratulations, sir. Your son, Bilal, is chosen to be the next adjunct of the year. A high and special position within the community." My father was surprised. Although he knew that this was a very big compliment, at the same time, he was also struggling in his mind. And the reason that he was struggling was because for him, this doesn't fit in our lives, in our culture. So he immediately wanted to stop this conversation, but was looking for a sympathetic way. And so he told him that he would talk with his wife, my mother, and that he would call him back. So he came home and jokingly told my mother what kind of phone call he received today, with the expectation that she had the same thought as him. And there he came for another surprise. By the direction of my mom, she reacted very seriously and told him, "Well, that's a very gentle gesture about association, but it's not up to us to decide. Let's ask him. I let him choose." And that's what I did. And I said yes. But I said yes to something I knew nothing about. The only thing I can remember from the carnival was when I was a little kid. Mom dressed me as a ninja and sent me to school. And the reason why I remember that is because when I was at school and I went to the toilet, there I stood. Didn't know how to unzip myself. But isn't it weird being born and grown up here and knowing nothing about this old culture that's been here for hundreds of years in the region? For me, it was nothing but a party outside, dressed up in all these kinds of colors and costumes. And yeah, my parents did dress me up when I was a child. And do you know why? It was because they had a fear of me missing out with the other kids in school. And so, when I became an adjunct, it was much more than my thoughts of the tradition. I saw the big organization behind this event and hundreds of volunteers working day in, day out, whole year long to make this event successful. But it's not only what I saw, but also what we did, for whom we did, and what it meant for them. For example, we visited elderly centers. I made all these elderly people their day. I even remember an elderly woman sitting in her wheelchair, grabbing my arm and looking up at me, saying how proud she was that the son of an immigrant was taking part of the carnival and that she could experience that in her life. We also had this program where we visited every primary school in the city. At every school, when we came there, we saw all these happy kids waiting for us to take a selfie or a high five. But there were also unpleasant moments that made me think. And now I want to share with you 2 examples. Monday morning, the day after the weekend, when they announced in the local newspaper and media that I will be the next adjunct of the city, I went to school. And when I was standing at my school locker, this immigrant girl grabbed my attention by the way she was looking at me. And she came to me. And the only thing she said was, "You're a shame for the community by doing this." Meaning the immigrant community. And there I stood. Didn't know what to think. And meanwhile saw her leaving. Well, I didn't even know what to say. While she was walking to the end of the hall, I was nailed to the ground. And she disappeared in the end of the hallway. And I was still standing there, astonished. Didn't know what just happened. The only thing that went through my mind was, have I made the right decision by accepting this position? Another moment was with my friends, going out, having the time of our lives, when this group of drunk men aggressively came to me. One guy stepped up, pointed his finger at me just in front of my nose and told me, "You immigrants, you take our jobs, our houses, and now you take our carnival. Why don't you go back to your own country?" This made me confused. For one, it was, do not participate. It's not ours. And for the other, it's, do not participate. It's not yours. These 2 examples, and especially the fact that a lot of people thank me for doing this, made me think and reflect a lot. And these last years, for me, it seems as if there is more polarization. And in my life, I always wondered why some people are prejudiced about my background and culture, and were not interested. But was I not doing the same? Not knowing what the carnival was all about, and what it means for the community? When I looked at my life, it seemed like a library. And I think all of you have been in a library. And when I talk about myself, when I enter a library, I always go straight to the same corner, to the same themes, grabbing the same sort of books, passing by other pets and books I'm not interested in. How does your life library look like? The library in your street. Maybe it's the family that you always say hello to and has been living there for years. But you know nothing about them. At work, it can't be the lady at the front desk or the security guy. Or at college, the quiet student in your class. I want to ask you to think and reflect about your own personal situation. But before that, may I invite you to look at my situation. This is not about the carnival. We see several people thinking, acting and looking to the same aspect in a different way. My father, my mother, the immigrant girl, the drunk guy, or the old lady. They are all part of society. And I can have a judgment about all of them. But that's not the right way. The most important thing is to think, look, and reflect about myself. And instead of judging about others, I'm trying to learn to be more open, to be interested, listen and understand the thoughts and arguments of others, and try to create bridges to them, even though they're totally different from mine. And please, when you go back to your own life library, don't forget. Don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.